Holla. Patreon.com/Taylor Durden. It's crazy that they locked up another Fuji. They got 2 out of 3 Fujis. I'm surprised they didn't lock Wyclef up, honestly, at this point. But I guess he was working with the Clintons down in Haiti, so I guess he got the get out of jail free card. That shit is crazy, though, man. The shit that they lock Pras up is crazy. You know what I mean? Shout out to Jersey, man. Shout out to all the New Jerusalem homies. What's going on? Juicy Ness. What a name. All right. Yeah, man. A bunch of shit to talk about. A bunch of biometric news. Obviously, some basic ass news. You know, that's going on that I could talk about that people might have heard of. But I'm definitely going to be doing them 2 to 3 minute reels with the green screen. I just was like, fuck it. When in 2020, when I was doing 9 to 15 posts a day and getting traction and pretty good response, and my following was, you know, really expanding. I had a decent core following, but then my reach was much longer, you know, just through shares and stuff. But I was like, fuck it. The format has kind of changed in a sense because AI has made people even more lazy, and people have no attention spans. I got to work with what we got, you know. But I'm pretty direct with the words, you know. For a long time, I felt like I was geared for a certain time, like what I grew up in, and just being cultured by the culture, I guess you could say. Like, just the different means of communication, different punchlines, different cultural norms and biases throughout the country, you know what I mean, and in the world as well. I feel like it primed me around 2020 to have, you know, success and have traction. And at this point, it's like, all right, I just gotta, you know, change the format, because I know it's like people don't want the shit to be direct. They want it to be like, you know, really, you know, blunted, I guess you could say. They want it to be more so like, they don't want it to be sharp. What I mean by blunted, they want it to be like a package that they when they look at anything, when they look at like a dog reel or a cat reel, like that's kind of what you're competing with online. The average person, they might only have like 2 or 3 minutes to look at something while they're in traffic at a red light or while they're taking a shit or whatever. So that's kind of like the format. As much as like I could say something that's like direct as fuck and it's poignantly worded and everything is done well, it still takes a second for people to like the shit has to register. And then if they don't have any personal experiences that are like events that they can cross-reference from their own mental Rolodex to be like, oh yeah, this checks out, what he's saying is true. If that's not there and they just have to go off of like intuition and like a hunch that what I'm saying is means something, or what, you know, they don't really. A lot of times people are confused about what they think I'm saying. And for me, it's like, it's kind of just like, it leaves me perplexed a lot. Because I'm like, man, it's pretty direct. I don't know how you don't get it, but, you know, people are very cryptic with themselves because the trust has been lost within the individual. So everything has become cryptic and like a roundabout way of communicating instead of direct. So when you be direct, it comes off as like cryptic or like coded or something. It's just very blunt, very basic, you know. And I just have to switch. I have to move the format a little bit to deliver the same things in the packaging that people are accustomed to, you know. You're just changing the food but giving them the same plate, pretty much. That's where it's at. Because I feel like it really did work out for years, but definitely it peaked in 2020. Up until 2022, I guess you could say that's when it was really starting to nosedive, I guess I could say, that the type of reach that I could get off of just direct posts. Because again, like, a lot of people are illiterate. A lot of people, they don't have the attention span. It could be a short sentence, but maybe I don't use a word that they're used to, or, you know, whatever it is. They could just get distracted amidst thinking and processing. Like, I say something and it might resonate a little bit, but then there's so much distraction. So I think I'm gonna definitely keep those coming. Them 2-3 minute videos with this green screen. I got a lot of joints for that. I want to do at least one a day. Like one, I was thinking about just doing on some Pac shit, like 3 a day. but I don't want to oversaturate it. Maybe I'll make another account just to oversaturate with, though. I don't know. But, man, I wanted to talk about this. I know it's not the major news. It's kind of crazy, though, to me that Fugees rapper Pras Michel has been sentenced to 14 years in federal prison for his role in a sprawling international conspiracy involving illegal foreign donations and political lobbying efforts in the U.S. Prakatsrel is his real name? Prakatsrel Pras, the other dude in the Fugees. She was in between dudes, just like Lauren. The other dude, the not Wyclef dude. You know what I mean? If you listening to fucking the Fuji lies, that other guy. We used to be, but now we permanently won. That shit. That dude, he got locked up today. And it's like, they gave him 14 years. 10 federal counts of conspiracy, acting as an unregistered foreign agent. You know that's why I'm bringing it up. Anybody that knows anything about the FARA shit, the registry for foreign agents, I mean, come on, anybody that's on the Israel shit and the whole AIPAC lobby and J Street and the other, amongst the other lobbies, you know, I think a lot of people too, they get caught up in the AIPAC shit, and I see, you know, AIPAC's like a stamp. You know, you get access. You get the AIPAC stamp, and you got the card. Now you get access. You go, yo, so AIPAC approved of you, so now you get these businesses and different individuals that, you know, have businesses that have money that are, you know, an extension of the Jewish lobby. They're willing to fund you. So a person might only have like 15 to like 150,000. You know, you got senators and shit, they get up to like 1 million, you know, maybe more in a cycle from the AIPAC lobby, just directly from AIPAC. Whereas like, you know, congressmen and shit, they might only get like 15,000. Somebody only get like 2,500. But the fact that they receive money as like a stamp, so then the other companies that are controlled by the Jewish lobby, they can fund that, you know, whether it be Pfizer or what have you, you know, different companies that are headed by Zionists, they can fund the candidates, and it could be like seen as like, oh, that's a corporate lobby. That's not necessarily a direct Zionist or Israeli or Jewish lobby. So AIPAC itself, it used to go by a different name. Let me see what it was called. I think it was called like the Zionist movement. It was like very direct before. What was AIPAC called before AIPAC? The American Zionist Committee for Public Affairs. So they switched from the AZC to the AIPAC, and supposedly the conspiracy as far as JFK, they say JFK was like, y'all have to register. He was saying the AZCPA, you need to register as a foreign agent, and he was trying to, you know, force that down, and then you know, he got killed. So then after that, they never registered as a foreign agent, and no one ever really said anything about it ever again. You know, until like, you know, recently. I mean, some people said it, you know, Pat Buchanan said it in the 90s, but like, you know, most people don't ever talk about AIPAC or the Jewish lobby until recently. And so you would have to register as a foreign agent if you're on, you know, working on behalf of a government. You know, if you're lobbying on behalf of a government. And you know, I guess that's what the dude Pras Michel was doing, which is just crazy to me, to lock up this individual for 14 years when you know damn well you got AIPAC, which is basically just a criminal syndicate, lobbyist syndicate, not registered as a foreign agent, lobbying. They ain't giving them shit. They should be if they're giving 14 years to fucking Pras plus 3 years of probation, you gotta give it to everybody that works at AIPAC. They're all unregistered foreign agents. You know, they have a supposed dual loyalty. This is ridiculous. So what he did was, he found guilty of funneling millions of dollars in foreign money from Malaysian financier Joe Low into Barack Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. he couldn't have been the only one that knew about this. How the fuck does it? How's this not like a RICO? How's it just one dude and it's the guy from the Fugees? It's crazy as fuck. He also attempted to lobby the Trump administration in 2017 to drop a U.S. investigation into Joe Low and to extradite a Chinese dissident. Prosecutor said he betrayed his country for money. That is rich. That is rich, bro. I think he got locked up under Biden. Yeah, he got convicted in 23, sentenced in 25. He got a report to federal prison in January. Imagine having you had number one hit records, but you had the Fuji La. You had the Score in general as an album. You know what I mean? Ready or Not. You was part of that. And now you doing 14 years. Crazy work, bro. That is for the same thing that AIPAC does every day. The trial featured high-profile witnesses, including Leonardo DiCaprio and former Attorney General Jeff Sessions. What the fuck did they say? I want to get the discovery kind. I want to know what DiCaprio. What was he saying? Like, yeah, nah, I fuck with the Fugees. How did he know? Like, you know what I mean? How did he know about? Why did he need to be a star witness in a money laundering / illegal lobbying scheme? Jeff Sessions, I don't know why. I mean, I want to know why he was there. Maybe because he had to be there because some of the crimes, I guess, happened during when he was working for the government. I think Jeff Sessions was the Attorney General at the time. Mikhail's defense argued that he was unaware of the laws he was breaking and portrayed him as a naive rather than malicious actor. Despite facing they were trying to give him life. They gave him 14 years for the thing. He's ordered to forfeit over $64 million tied to a legal scheme. I can see y'all want to, make him forfeit some money, but putting him away for 14 years is crazy. There's so many pay-for-play schemes in D.C. right now, and there's so many people embezzling money. The whole AIPAC lobby is an embezzlement. So Israel gets billions in aid every year, and then Israel buys bonds with a lot of that money. So then America has to. They're basically it's a crazy parasitic cycle. Israel buys the bonds, and America has to pay the bonds back. You know what I mean? As the bonds appreciate in value, they're paying. They pay for the money that they loaned out to Israel that Israel used to buy the bonds with. It's a crazy parasite cycle. But the money that they get from this scandal, this scheme, they use to flood the coffers of different elections, different candidates during different elections. So it's just crazy to lock up a motherfucker from the Fugees when there's probably dozens of people at AIPAC that you could just be raiding the offices, or J Street. Yeah, it's crazy as fuck, man. And he did it across two administrations. He did it for Obama. That's wild to me. I don't know. When I seen that, I was like, damn. That's sad as a bitch, man. The Fuji law got locked up. The Fuji locked up. It's nuts, man. Yeah, it's a bunch of the basic same news, man. I seen this shit with anybody that keeps up with like the typical news shit. There's a guy named James Comey, former Fed director, and not the Federal Reserve, but FBI, and he got indicted, but the whole indictment got crazy holes in it. It's like, and they had like months to get this shit done, and then they waited till like 5 days before the statute of limitations to roll out the indictment, and it's like rushed. And I think he's gonna get off on just getting the case dismissed probably, or it's just gonna be so many holes that if it does go to trial, that shit gonna get eaten up, And then by the time if he does go to prison, it'll be a new president. It'll be you'll have a Democrat president probably in 2028, and so he'll probably get his sentence commuted. He'll probably get pardoned. So it's just theater. There's more and more theater, and I seen Trump was like, these people, these people need to be executed because they trying to say don't follow my orders and all of that. And I'm like, bro, you're the fucking president. Why do you tweet about this shit when, you know, what you telling us for? That made no fucking sense, bro. I'm telling you, once food stamps run out next September, in the next September, they're gonna have another crisis where they're gonna have to somehow fund food stamps again. And I think they're gonna just draw that bitch out for the election to animate the left voters. Then when the left gets in, I mean, they can have a crazy majority. You know, they could win, especially if Trump continues down his path with his administration. He's just a puppet. But if that administration continues down his path of, like, you know, foreign interests, pretty much insider trading. Everybody, Howard Lutnick, his son-in-law, all of them is getting money off the AI boom. They keep, you know, basically pumping and dumping and propping up the different companies, and they invest in them to where it's just insider trade. They're making off like fat cats. So like if it continues down this line where they're just out of touch, they just fucking stealing money basically through through stock market, and then through insider trading and insider manipulation, because you control the regulations in the White House. You know, you allow companies to flourish or what have you. You know what I mean? You can control the whole flow of the stock market that way. So they all getting fat, and they're so out of touch that I think the left will, especially if they continue down this Israel path, if they continue to just can back them and ride with them and ride with the Mark Levins of the world and those motherfuckers, then you're gonna have a bunch of people pissed about the shit, for one. And then, you know, on top of that, I think they're just going to continually lose points. Like, I think the left will start to run on a anti-Zionist platform, and the right will never be able to go against it. You know, they'll never be able to go against it. Because it's crazy how, it's a funny thing, how the right is like Zionist Christians, you know, the evangelical crowd, and then the left is like atheists and just like disenfranchised black people and fucking shit like that. You know, you got some Christians and shit in there too, but for the most part, that there's a certain godlessness on both ends of the spectrum. It's kind of funny. But the left, they recently had like an injunction by a federal judge, and because Texas redistricted all their congressional districts so that they could like have 5 more Republican seats in the House to try to, you know, fix the elections a little bit in 2028 or 2026 as best they can. So California responded, did the same thing, and they like balanced it out. But there was an injunction that blocked Texas's ability to do it. I mean, it might go to the Supreme Court, but as of now, the redistricting got blocked. So they're already going to lose probably 5 seats there. If California still gets their shit off, they're going to lose another 5 seats. They only have a 5-seat majority or something. So if they are down 10 and then they continue down the Israel path, the pro-Israel path, they're going to lose so massively in 2026 that I don't even think, I mean, they could, if they take the House and the Senate, you can completely override the president if you have veto-proof majorities. It's called a supermajority. Let me get the specifics. How many votes in the House and Senate do you need for veto-proof majority? I used to know this when I took political science. Congress needs 2/3 majority in both chambers. And you could probably get that. If shit continues down this path, if the average person continues to suffer and have to get pizzas off of Klarna, and Trump keeps saying everything's all right, and they bombing other countries and funding other countries, they're going to take a crazy L. You only need 67 votes in the Senate. I think that's possible, man. They can have a crazy swing like that if it continues down this path. And you only need 290. So what you would need, I think they're at like 215 right now, the Democrats. So they don't really need that many more votes, and I think that they can They could bake it into where they can flip the House and the Senate. Even as Trump being in there, they could pass legislation and just force it through and veto-proof it to where it don't matter. Trump can't even veto it if they get the majority, like, you know, this kind of super majority. So, like, either way, you have them having a super majority where it completely castrates the executive branch where they can't do nothing anyway, or they'll not be able to get anything passed. None of the agendas will be able to get passed, and so you have like a constant threat of shutdowns, a constant threat of interruption of food stamps and, you know, TSA funding and traveling air traffic controllers and everything. That shit is just in the future. We're just getting primed and conditioned to be okay with this shit. So I think you have that going on, and you have the biometric shit going on. Traveling is about to get stupid. Because I've seen some more biometric news today as well about the iris scanning. I was like, how long until iris scans are widespread? Iris scans are expected to be widespread in travel within the next 3 to 5 years, with major airports already piloting and expanding their use. Adoption is accelerating due to demand for contactless, secure, and fast identity verification. And you already know that people are still going to get around this, and they're still going to do false flags off of this, and like, the system wasn't working. We need to have a federal AI system or some shit, some type of shit. We need to have another system on top of the system to ensure iris scan ain't enough. You need to have the iris with the thumb, with the tongue swab or some dumb shit. So Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, which is actually a pretty smooth airport. I think getting in and out of Amsterdam is pretty easy. I like that airport. They have iris recognition system called Privium, allowing travelers to clear immigration in 15 seconds or less. U.S. Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, processed over 387 million travelers in 2024 and is actively integrating biometrics, including iris scans, into border control. IDEMIA and other tech firms are deploying iris-based systems for passenger processing and border control, especially where facial recognition is limited, like masks and stuff. So it don't matter if you have a mask, they'll just fucking scan your iris. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, bro, don't let me get married. Don't let me have a broad that I can be comfortable enough or confident enough in to marry. I'm going to be wearing all the facial recognition outfits and glasses and shit. What? I'm going to look like a snazzy Unabomber on the low. Minus the bombing. More airports will integrate iris recognition along facial biometrics, especially in international terminals in 25, for the rest of 25 and 26. 27 and 28, widespread rollout expected in major global hubs with iris scan used for check-in and boarding. Just at that bitch-ass kiosk, all them kiosks gonna have an iris scanner for you, bro. We're already going in the Eon Flux world. Immigrations and customs, lounge and gate access. To access your fucking gate, so you have to scan to get your ticket to go through security, and then you get to your gate and got iris scan again. They got high accuracy iris patterns are more unique than fingerprints, more facial features. Damn, I might have started doing videos with motherfucking the Matrix glasses on or something. I need the Morpheus joints. They're contactless, ideal for post-pandemic hygiene standards, mask-friendly, and the speed. But like I was saying, man, this shit's gonna be everywhere. You're gonna whether you don't. The government is not gonna need to have a federal law for real ID or none of that type of shit for like jobs and stuff like they do in the UK. You don't even need to do that. You don't even need to do that. Like, they're gonna just do it through corporations, and then you'll have a back door into the corporations from the government. They'll just get all the data from the corporations through fiat, or just subpoena people if they want it. Yeah. I always forget that I got a touchscreen fucking laptop. I'll be using a pad like a fucking boomer. Passengers supposedly prefer biometrics in mobile apps. IATA's 2025 global passenger survey. These motherfuckers must all be from Asia. They surveyed everybody from Asia. Fucking drones, bro. I swear, man. Yafeth, man. Yafethites just be like, yeah, bro, it's convenient. Whatever the app say. I'm an app. I'm basically a human app. Swedish firm Precise Biometrics reported steady revenue but a slight earnings dip in Q3 2025. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of that. DHS has proposed a rule to expand biometric data collection, including fingerprints, facial scans, and DNA. Yo, the mouth swab I was accurate. That bitch is coming. What would be the opposite of pause? Play? When you say some shit that's heterosexual, you be like, yo, play that. You know what I mean? Run that. Fucking sideways triangle that. A new study for International Air Transportation Association, the IATA, suggests that biometric digital IDs could eliminate the need for separate domestic and international passenger flows. This could save airports millions annually and reduce. So basically what they're saying is they're going to have all terminals together, whether you be flying internationally or domestically. So they lump it all in, and then everybody has to get scanned. They'll start it with the international shit, and then they'll merge all the terminals, and it won't be like, this is the international terminal. It'll just be the airport itself. And then everybody will have to do this shit just to travel. And then if you have fucking shutdowns and everything, they probably make it even more tiny hatish on you. Like, you know, the lines would be crazy if you don't have your biometrics or a real ID, because there'd be less TSA or, you know, what have you. If they have shutdowns for extended periods or indefinite shutdowns. More U.S. news. Offshore drilling expansion. Offshore drilling near California and Florida reversing Biden-era restriction and move sparked bipartisan backlash over environmental and tourism concerns. I'm sure it's going to be an environmental nightmare at some level. But even more than that, just like the views, bro. Ocean views, man. Small circles, the chosen few. How the fuck... You know, how am I going to the Catalina Islands and then there's oil rigs out there? You know what I mean? You go to Key West and there's oil rigs out that bitch. Like, come on, man. And I think they got that shit right. They can't shut them down. Like, you can't open them up, like coal plants and fracking facilities and stuff. Like, you got to wait a certain amount of time to open them up. And then they can't be shut down for a certain amount of years. Like, you get, like, grandfathered in. So, like, the next administration can't just come in and shut you down, you know, immediately. So if he gets that done, I mean, gas prices might come down, but probably not. I think because you're still going to have inflation, and then who knows what the global market for gas will be. You know, I did hear that there's a peace proposal for Ukraine. I wonder if they'll ever come to terms with that, but they're talking about Ukraine forfeiting the land that they lost, but they still allow Ukraine to have access to the Black Sea so that they can trade grain. And then they'll enter the EU, but they won't be in NATO. So you still be able to use the euro there, but they won't have military protection. And the terms is like, if Russia attacks Ukraine, then NATO will attack Russia. Same shit, basically, as where we're at right now. And if Ukraine attacks Russia, then Russia will take all of Ukraine. So... yeah. AI regulation proposal. Trump is pushing for a federal standard on AI regulation aiming to block individual states from imposing their rules. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, they want to have a federal control. And by they, I mean Tiny Hats, because they control the companies, you know, whether it be Alex Karp or the cryptos, the Peter Thiels of the world. Trump's supposed to meet Mom Donnie. That's just gonna be that. It's gonna be pro wrestling for real. Oh yeah, the Walmart news, man. Walmart switching from the NYSE to Nasdaq because of they want to be considered like a tech forward company, and I think a lot of that is just because Nasdaq is completely digital. It's not. There's no human element. Like you don't have to physically go or do anything as far as the trading or the securing of the trades and stuff. So everything is digital with Nasdaq, and it's cheaper. And they'll probably be able to have more nefarious activities with a completely digital system. And yeah, I mean it's crazy. I don't even think they should be allowed to be in the Nasdaq because I feel like they should be considered a financial institution. They got Green Dot. They got the Walmart to Walmart. I don't know how they're not considered a bank already. They like work with other banks for trading, but it's like a thin line right there. They're basically a bank themselves. So I don't know why they're even allowed to be on NASDAQ. But you know, it's crazy because I'm banned from all of that too. I'm banned from Green Dot. I'm banned from Walmart to Walmart. I'm banned from all banks. I'm banned from Amazon. I got my Instagram deleted. My Facebook been hemmed up for a long time. Which is actually not that bad right now. Facebook, I feel like the reach is better than all of them. I have better reach on Facebook, strangely. And then YouTube been hemmed up for like 10 years. More than 10 at this point. We talking about 13 years. My YouTube been hemmed up. So reporting to you live from nowhere. Yeah, I seen on the AI shit, Nvidia had like a 5% surge and then they went back down to like a 2% loss by the end of the day. A bunch of people probably made off. A bunch of people got money real quick, sold high, and then the shit dipped and they made out, and people just took a little crazy little L today. A bunch of people. Some sort of insider trading probably happened. And the better than expected jobs report from September boosted optimism about the U.S. economy, but uncertainty about the Federal Reserve's next interest rate move and profit taking in tech triggered a late session sell-off. So I'm saying this shit bubbled up real quick early in the day. People did a bunch of insider trading, and at the end of the day, it was a loss. You're getting fucked, bro. 7 ways from Sunday. Dow Jones fell 500 points. S&P logged its longest streak since August. Longest losing streak. NASDAQ dropped almost 2%, raising a 2.5% gain earlier today. AI generated country song tops the Billboard charts. Walk My Way by AI artist Break and Russ hit #1 on Billboard's country digital song sales. Country legends Brooke and Dunn weighed in, expressing both amusement and concern about AI. Yeah, you're done. Motherfuckers are done. You know, welcome. Look, I've been done for a long time. I've been debanked, de-Walmarted, de-Amazon. Welcome. Everybody's coming into the world I've been living in for a long time. That's really where we are. I've been in this motherfucker for a minute, waiting for people to get here. You know, I wasn't preying on people's downfalls, but I saw if it happened to me. I know I'm not gonna be the only one. You know, they kneecapped me early. You know, and it is probably like some sort of energy signature going on behind the profane. You know, because I like I said, I was working with people that was in the same industries as me, getting money, doing a lot of the same shit I was doing, and they didn't get kneecapped like I did early on. I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I getting fucking the rug pulled from under me so early? And I'm not even making the money that y'all making. And there's no logical explanation for it other than the fact that motherfuckers just have more parasites than I did. You know? They were a bigger host. Their trajectory was already serving the parasite, so the parasite was like, whatever, I'll let him get his money for now. AI reshaping energy workforce, AI revolution in the energy sector, predicting grid demand to optimizing renewables. But the bigger shift may be in how companies hire and train talent. You know, the crazy thing, I just seen some shit about AI. They got it now in the state of New York, at least, where you could order some shit online or from like different apps that have AI functions and get different prices than someone else based on like what you typically buy and your overall profile. So that's where it's going to be, you know what I mean? Again, it's like crony capitalism. We're going to have social credit score. People with higher social credit score standing, people that are just selling us all out pretty much, they're going to be able to get shit at different rates than everybody else. Whether you buying some shit off of Grubhub or you ordering a piano or something off Amazon, whatever it is, like you're going to get different rates. Your shit's going to come up as different than someone else. They started in New York, and if they can start it there, they can start it anywhere. Neuromorphic computing breakthrough. Researchers have developed a mixed dimensional synaptic transistor using quantum dots and nanowires, advancing low power AI systems that mimic the human brain. This could lead to smarter, more efficient AI hardware. Yeah. And a lot of it is just because some dude just don't want to dwell in reality and don't want order to be restored, and he'd rather fuck a fucking robot and hang with robots. And so we all gotta suffer. Snowflake emerges as a top AI contender. I never even heard of them. While Palantir and Big Bear AI have seen strong gains, analysts predict Snowflake could outperform both in 26. This AI-powered data cloud platform is attracting new customers. The new Ponzi scheme. It's just, I bet you it's not that many players behind the scenes. They just keep opening up shell companies, shell AI companies. They'll come up with a name and they'll have like a new technology. And then they'll be like, all right, we ran this dry. This Ponzi scheme's ran dry. Let's make another joint with some slightly newer technology and act like it's gonna be the one. And then drain that. Taiwan Semiconductor eyes $3 trillion valuation. As demand for AI chips surges, TSMC is being hailed as the next tech giant poised to join the $3 trillion club alongside Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia. Its role in manufacturing AI hardware is critical to the global supply chain. You know, I love Taiwan too, bro. I really, man. It would be a tragedy if China took over Taiwan, man. I enjoy my time in Taiwan. Taiwan's a beautiful country. Got a lot of hot springs. Everything's pretty inexpensive with the US dollar last time I checked. You know, motherfuckers doing Tai Chi in the streets everywhere. And I don't think they eat dogs. So, shout out, I don't think they eat dogs there, but maybe they do. Oracle faces investor scrutiny over AI bets. Oracle's massive $300 billion investment in AI partnerships, including OpenAI, has triggered a bond sell-off and stock volatility. Analysts are divided on whether this bold move will pay off. I noticed the tiny hats that own Oracle ain't about to fall off. I know that much. They always give me San Jose news, bro. It's 3.5 hours away. So I'd be like, give me the local, the global, and the regional, and they'd be stay giving me San Jose shit. I do like San Jose though. Yeah, they doing the ice shit in North Carolina, right? I've seen people talking about that. It's only like 81. They went to Charlotte and locked up 81 people. I think Obama locked up more people. He just wasn't brash about it. He wasn't like flexing and shit about it. 81 motherfuckers is nothing. You let 10 million people in the last 4 years. So at this rate, what are we going to have? 1 million removed? Still have 9 million motherfuckers not supposed to be here. And then probably all their kids. And then like 40 million motherfuckers since like the 70s. And their kids not supposed to be here. Bro, this is crazy. On top of the other motherfuckers since 1476 that wasn't supposed to be here. Trump administration eyes FEMA relocation to Texas. That'll probably have. They probably moving a chessboard for some reason. Moving a chess piece on the board for some reason. That's something down the road. Schools of Hope operators have submitted 690 notice to enter public school campuses across Florida. Oh yeah, I seen that shit. They're supposed to be destroying the Department of Education, which to me is actually not a bad thing. If that's what they're doing, let me make sure. A coordinated intelligence operation has disrupted a Hamas terror network across Europe, uncovering weapons cache. Because they probably work for y'all. You just snitched on them, targeting Jewish communities. You probably just your homies that you snitched on. Youth-led protests in Madagascar, Morocco, and Peru are challenging corruption, economic equality, with social media playing a key role. It's been that way since the Arab Spring. Social media has been a way to destabilize since they unrolled Twitter during the Arab Spring. I mean, you got these other ones destabilizing individuals' minds. But yeah, Department of Education news. But yeah, I'm gonna do a bunch of 3-minute videos, man, about which breathwork music I like, about different tidbits in history and like unknown history people don't know about, because there's so many points I want to make that I just be saying the shit, and the people that can they actually listen, they can catch on, they remember the shit. Because the thing is like a lot of people watch me, and that usually inhibits their ability to listen. You know what I mean? People like if you listen to the radio, like back in the day when it was all radio, people had better imaginations. You can listen to a boxing fight or a sporting event of any sort on the radio, and your imagination is working. You know, you're using the words to build something in your mind. Whereas like now this shit is all delivered to you, so you just go into a total state of atrophy, especially if you see someone moving and talking and animated. You don't even hear what they're saying. You're just going right into the trance. So I'm gonna be doing them little 2-3 minute videos every day. Different joints about history, different joints about everything. Tones and frequencies and all of that. All of the shit that, little points that I know a lot of people that listen have picked up. But the people that need their handheld and they need visual cues every 6 seconds, you know, we'll work with them. The U.S. Department of Education is currently being dismantled, with its programs and staff being reassigned to other federal agencies. Trump's closure plan. The administration is moving forward with its long-promised plan to shut down the Department of Education, arguing that states should have more control over schooling. I mean, that's true, though. You know? I mean, it sucks when you're in a state that's completely commied out. But then what? Then you go to a right-wing state, then they give you fake history? Either way, you're getting fake history, you know? The left states is like saying shit about genders and all of that, and saying like motherfuckers were slaves that was brought from Africa, and that they deserve something because they was brought from Africa. And the right is saying like, we brought them from Africa, but that was a long time ago, so you shouldn't worry, they have a better life now than the rest of Africans, so they should feel better about it, and giving you a whole lie on the history. So either way, you kind of fuck, bro. Until we get a good portion of people that's like, look, these people was already here, and they got enslaved and displaced throughout the Americas, you know, and that's whose land this is. If we can get to that, if we had a sect given that option, it would break everything up, you know. It's just like how after World War II, the Russians had East Germany and the West had West Germany and West Berlin. And West Berlin had the airlift. They were getting goods brought in from other, you know, from all around the world. They're getting bananas and shit. The East Germany and East Berlin, they couldn't even get bananas and shit. They were on some communistic shit. So a lot of people defected because they were like, damn, you living so much better right over this imaginary line. And it's the same thing like with, you know, radical Islam and stuff like that. They don't want it. They don't want, like, you know, to have people to have other options. They want, at best you get, you know, Orthodox Christianity or Orthodox Jews and stuff. They don't want like Baha'i. Like in Iran, there's a religion called Baha'i, and they was like severely prosecuted or persecuted because they were, offering a different perspective to life and relationships and stuff. They have Baha'i has like lotus shaped temples, totally different vibe to Shia Islam and Orthodox Christians and Orthodox Jews. So they don't want their daughters and shit to see that. They don't want the women to see that type of consciousness. So they have to, corner the market on spirituality, basically. And it's the same thing with schools. If you knew you could go to a school and there was school choice and this school down the street, they were teaching actual history and shit like that, it would create a free market to where kids would be like, we're going over here, we have a choice to go over here. And so then teachers would have to compete for students, or schools would have to compete for students, and they wouldn't be able to pull the bullshit, and it would change the narrative. But it'll probably never get there. We'll never get like institutionalized reality. Program transfer. 6 interagency agreements have been signed to move responsibilities to the Departments of Labor, Interior, Health, and Human Services, and State. Yeah, so they just destroying the Board of Education. Linda McMahon, isn't that like the WWF McMahon's wife? She's overseeing the transition. Is Linda McMahon related to the WWE guy? I'm pretty sure she is. Yep. She is a longtime wife of Vince McMahon. It is pro wrestling, bro. Just isn't Susie Wiles Pat Summerall's daughter? Yes, Susie Wiles is the daughter of legendary sportscaster Pat Summerall. She's the political strategist and government official. She's in his cabinet. She's the White House chief of staff. First woman to hold the position. Bro, you could have just got any dude out of a construction group or a construction company and threw him in there before this bitch. You know what I mean? Come on, bro. Really? It's a bad look. It's a bad look. This is a WWE ass administration, but they all are, so. Come on. Sports are fake news. Her dad was a fake news broadcaster. And the Department of Education is getting dismantled, being overseen by Vince McMahon's wife. They've been married since '66, though. Damn, they kept it together. You think he cheats on her, or they cheat on each other? You think they into weird stuff? I put some money they done some weird shit in their time. One more question. Oh, and I seen the Epstein shit. They're gonna, like I said, they're gonna redact it. They got 30 days to release it. They'll probably pull some bullshit in that amount of time. Why don't they just release this shit right now? Yeah. It's the thing, like the House passed it, supermajority, Senate passed it, supermajority. Trump could have tried to veto it, but then it immediately passed. And veto proof, they had to immediately just override. The president checks and balances, they had to overrode him. So he had to sign it, begrudgingly. 20,000 pages of Epstein-related files and emails. Sensitive survivor information will be redacted. Yeah, they're probably going to use that as a scapegoat to redact a lot. I'd hate to be Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary for this administration, bro. It's just like any press secretary. You just get taken the heat. You take the questions. You just hold water for the president. You just be fucking lying for someone. Like, it's one thing to, like, lie because you, like, I guess fear getting murdered or something. But you gotta lie because some other dude's lying. And that's crazy. But, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry I couldn't do a show yesterday because I got home at like 2:20 in the morning. No, I got home at like 1:45 in the morning, something like or 1:30. I had so much shit I had to drive slow. I hit the fucking gym and did leg day at like 11 at night. And I got out of there at like midnight. And then I had like an hour and 15-minute drive home or something. And then I had to unpack all my shit because it rained all day today. So I had to like get everything covered, all my wood covered, my supplies, my concrete. And it's fuckery, man. So I didn't even get done unpacking everything till 2:20 in the morning last night. I was like, I can't do it now. My energy's fucked. You know? And I knew it was going to fuck up this whole day if I did something that late yesterday. So it was a good day, man. Good dreams. And yeah, I have that short form content coming, and then it'll be a nice supplement to this long form content. Me and my brother really we talking about it. We talked about this shit today about doing a radio show every weekend. Yeah, I'm banned from all banks, man. Pick a bank, I'm banned from it. Citi, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, Manhattan. And like I said, all money transferring things, they ban me as well. I think I can still get shit from Western Union or something. 'Cause I've sent money on Western Union before. I haven't received it though. But I've sent money in another country via Western Union. So we'll see, man. Thank you guys for joining me, man. Patreon.com/Taylor Durden. $5 a month for 5 hours of content. Anybody that wants to join me for a talk, man, let me know.